Hello, happy Friday. Welcome to She Boss Talk. I am Shantae Arati coming to you with another stimulus update and news report. It is May the 28th. So as we know, there's so much happening with the American Rescue Plan Act, the $1.9 trillion stimulus. A lot of that money is allocated for small business. So there's been a lot going on with these programs. So I'm here to share those updates with you today. As you're coming on, just say hello. Let me know who you are, where you're hailing from, and what your business is. I always want to know about our new small businesses and entrepreneurs, what you're doing. And welcome to this broadcast. If you have not already, do subscribe. If you're enjoying our content, do also share this out to other entrepreneurs and small business owners just like you who need the information. Do give this a thumbs up. Hit that love button so more small business owners can see this video. So I'm get right into it because I have a meeting right following this. We're going into the weekend. So let me know what you're doing for the weekend. I know I'm very busy, but I know it's a big Memorial Day weekend. So I know some people have some great things going on. So let's get right to it. So the first thing I want to just mention briefly is I did a live yesterday regarding the SBA's new program that they're launching, which is the Community Navigator program. And this program, there's two parts of it. So there is $100 million that is allocated to this program, where if you are an organization, a nonprofit that is eligible, and you actually work with small businesses, you maybe already have an organization that really caters to the small business community. You have a hub or maybe a co-work location, an incubator, something like that. There is an opportunity for you to get a grant between $1 million and $5 million to become one of the net community navigators as part of this program, which is to be able to provide much more grassroots support to the local small businesses in the local areas across the country to help them be able to get access to the programs that are provided by the SBA, so that we can help them and us overcome a lot of the challenges that we experience with trying to apply for some of these programs or get access to the programs that are administered by the SBA. So this is called, again, the Community Navigator program. And again, it's two folds, right? So if you're one that want to go after that grant, again, up to $5 million, be able to impact the lives of small businesses, I encourage you to do that. And then for the small business owners, I look for this program to be launching soon. I believe the deadline is July 22nd. So it's 41 days of open application period. Then they will go through a process of reviewing it. Then shortly thereafter, they will award these grants, and then it is the responsibility of the awardees to actually start implementing these programs across the country. So do look out for that for additional support. Also, I also mentioned yesterday that Wednesday, the House of Small Business Committee, if you have not checked them out on YouTube, I recommend that you go to their YouTube channel. They had two hearings back to back. They had one on Wednesday where the SBA Administrator Guzman actually testified and answered questions that the committee leaders had. So I think it's important for us to stay engaged with what's happening. I tell you many times that there are advocates out here that are really pulling for us to get access to what we need to be able to thrive during this time. So there are small business owners. I tell you all the time, email your congressional representatives, call. And so as they're in those hearings, they're letting her know, look, I have small business owners that, I'm meeting with that's calling and emailing me, and we're trying to get the information. We're trying to resolve some of these issues that the small businesses are bringing to our attention. So know that what you're saying in your calls and your emails are being heard. They are being acknowledged, and so it's up to them to work together to resolve those challenges. And so that's some of the things that they were doing. So that's an important hearing. believe it was 2.5 hours, and across 2 days, I listened to the entire hearing because it's my job to stand and know not only for myself, but I am on the forefront of providing information and education to you all as entrepreneurs and small business owners as well. And then the following day, so that was the examination of the SBA's COVID-19 programs. And then yesterday, they met again. And this was for a review of the SBA's grant programs. Okay. So again, very good information there, thorough questioning, review, discussion about the various programs. And again, they do discuss the challenges. And the great thing about the hearing yesterday is that there were small business owners there that were testifying, that was answering questions, that were there to tell their story, their experience as a small business owner, trying to deal with the challenges brought on their business by the COVID-19 pandemic. So you can hear a variety of experiences and challenges and struggles with the program, and success stories as well, and a plea for more programs and more funding to help support them. So even though they have help, you could clearly see that all of them still need additional support. And so, we again continue to call on them to bring forth more programs for us as small business owners. So after this broadcast, I would drop those links, but you can go to their YouTube channel, the House Small Business Committee. And again, they had 2 back-to-back hearings. So a lot of good information there to be shared. So that's that. So a lot of things are happening with the programs, like I said, with the SBA that they have rolled out. We already mentioned that the restaurant revitalization grant closed. That was up for discussion during the hearing. It was some interesting talk. So they always knew that it was, this is an underfunded program. So my understanding is that there was a call to add 20 more million prior to the signing of the bill, but that was not passed. So again, there are proposals being put forth to expand the restaurant revitalization program, to extend it again. So it's now closed, but they're trying to see if they can work together to provide more funding. Small business owners that have applied for reap the benefit of the program, and some are still waiting. So some are locked out because they had an overwhelming response to the grant, and there's more applicants than there is funding. And so, again, there's a call to add more money to that. So we'll keep you posted on how that goes. In the meantime, many of you all have applied to the restaurant revitalization grant. So those applications continue to be in process, are being approved, and deposits are being received. And so that is a wonderful lifeline to a lot of small businesses. As you know, that is a grant up to $10 million. They did address the Shutter Venue Operators Grant. This is a $16 million grant. I believe they got a lot of applicants, a lot of applications still coming in, but the volume is nowhere near the restaurant applicants. How many people apply there? But I think maybe between 15, 17,000, I think, have applied already, and the applications are still open for the Shutter Venue Operators Grant program. I thought they were supposed to have started to issue deposits, but based on Ms. Guzman's testimony yesterday and the concern that was brought forth by congressional members, they have not. So they started issuing, my understanding, approvals and award notices, but they did indicate, and I already knew, that there were more complexities, more requirements with regards to this program that made it more complex and challenging for the SBA themselves. So my understanding, she said that the deposits should start arriving this week or next week. So that's what she said. So those of you that have applied for the Shutter Venues grant, that is your update. So let me know if you or someone have applied to the Restaurant Revitalization Grant or the Shutter Venues Grant. Let me know. And what is your status? Have you been approved? Are you still pending? And have you been awarded? Have you gotten your deposit? I really like to know that. So, and these are the two newest programs that were rolled out as part of the American Rescue Plan Act. Okay. So that's the shutter venue grant. Still applications open, still running smoothly. They just need to start getting those deposits out. So if you think, if you have a live venue, you have a live talent that comes perform, people pay for tickets to come to see you, or you represent talent like comedians or artists, then I would recommend that you apply for that. However, you cannot have applied for or received the Restaurant Revitalization Fund grant and receive the Shutter Venue Operators grant as well. So it's either one or the other, but with both, you can get Paycheck Protection Program funding. It's just a matter of the amount is offset by the amount you received in the PPP funding. So let's talk about PPP because we're down to the wire here. Okay, so we know so many of us have applied for the Paycheck Protection Program. It ends. Okay, they talked about it, right? They said since the program opened, it's been expanded and funded many times. It's reached $1 trillion. Okay, so they did not discuss. I did not hear anything about expanding. When there was discussion about any expansion of these different programs or addition of other programs, Ms. Guzman always put it back to Congress that she's willing to work with them, but Congress is the ultimate, they make the ultimate decision if they are going to approve any additional funding because any of the SBA's funding is based on Congress and what Congress dictates or allocates and then approves, and then the president signs into law. Then they're able to expand or reopen the program, but it's really up to Congress. So that's who we need to be pushing to make sure that they pass a bill to extend these programs that we want. So there's right now no plan to extend. The focus really right now with the Paycheck Protection Program is to address the millions of business owners right now who have been funded but have not been forgiven. Their loans have not been forgiven, and so it's not automatic forgiveness. You actually have to put in an application, and so they're really trying to streamline those that have been funded $150,000 and above. For those that have been funded $150,000 and below, the application process is really easy, but it's still a matter of your lenders having the capacity and then opening the forgiveness applications up for you. So I already know people that have been forgiven, but there's far too many that have not, and they were rolling it out in different stages. So opening up applications for forgiveness for those that had applied already in 2020 and already got funded, so they can start going through that process. You definitely want to make sure that before you apply for forgiveness, that you know that you have spent at least 60%, whether it's just you and you have no other employees, or it's your business has employees, that at least 60% went to payroll related costs. Other 40% can go to non-payroll related costs. If you have any questions about expenses, what the money can be spent on, how to get full forgiveness, we have tons of videos I did recently to explain that process. But that's the focus right now. So the focus is not adding additional funding, which we still have many people in the pipeline. There's still issues with some hundreds of thousands of applications that are on hold with the SBA due to different error codes and different things like that, things that need to be resolved, but they're still processing the applications. We're down to the wire, so there's only a few lenders left, and so shout out to those that have said that they have been awarded. They're looking forward to their deposits. One of our viewers let me know that last night that she actually went to one of the local CDFIs. So I did a video on EIDL and PPP alternative funding. So, there is more funding out there than just these particular programs. So I did that video. So if you're looking for funding, please go check out that video. But I shared the link because it's only open to CDFIs. These are community development financial institutions. There is probably at this point $2 billion, maybe a little bit less, that is available in set aside dollars. So Womply is a partner, CDF partner. That's why they're able to accept applications now. And then Smart Biz Loans is also accepting applications, or you can go to the locator link in the description and find a local CDFI that is still accepting applications. So just because they're CDFI doesn't mean that they're still accepting applications, but contact them and see if they are. So she reached out to her local CDFI and they were able to come through for her. So they can be a great resource, especially to those in underserved communities. Get connected to the CDFI organizations. Find one in your local area. They could be a great resource of information as well. So that is the PPP program. It ends. Absolutely ends, closes, no new applications on May the 31st. So if you are still trying to get your application in, whether it's first draw or second draw, you still have an opportunity to do so. Both lenders accept first draw and second draw. Now, one key is when you go to the application, it will ask you if you received funding in 2020. Even if you didn't and you received it in 2021, say yes. That will trigger the second draw application. If you put no, they're going to give you the first draw application, which means that it would just get so confusing, and then you can't submit another first draw when you already received it, because then it's gonna bounce back. So make sure if it says if you already got a loan in 2020, say yes, and then it will prompt you to the second draw application. So if you've applied for first draw or second draw, please let me know in the comments. Already let you all know that I applied for funding for my business, both businesses, and they have been approved. So I'm excited about that. So if you're still in process with your lender, there's still time to get it, to win it. If you signed your documentation and you're just right now waiting on the SBA to provide that, to provide the funds, to get you the loan number. Now, many people have contacted me about saying that they don't have a loan number. You do. If you have the funds, you have an SBA loan number, you want to go back to the email that you received the notification that you awarded the loan. The SBA loan number is there. You want to save that email, save all your correspondences, please. But you will have that. And if you're trying to apply for second draw, you will need your first draw SBA loan number in order to move forward with the second draw application. Now, when you ask for forgiveness, you will need your loan number so they can match it back to your loan and the loan amount, so they can provide the correct application for you to apply for forgiveness. So again, 150 or less is very super simple application process for you to be forgiven. Just a reminder, a couple of weeks ago, I did a fraud video. So there are people that are under investigation with their applications. If there was any fraud, and what is defined as fraud is very broad, whether it's intentional or non-intentional. What will happen is when you get to the forgiveness stage, so not everybody will be forgiven, because if you were not entitled to it or there was any indication of fraud, that is where it's gonna end for you. You got the money, but they may issue you a demand letter which says you must give it all back right now, and they may also deny your forgiveness if you were flagged for fraud or under investigation for fraud. So just be on alert. When they have these different errors and things like that, these are some of the things that they have a red flag. These alerts on the system may be the reason why you don't get passed through that level, and maybe the reason why you don't get approved from the SBA on a particular loan or wind up getting funded. So that is the Paycheck Protection Program. Again, I always say you have to take an active approach. You can't be passive when it comes to funding. You have to be very proactive. You have to be quick. Take your time and be thorough. You don't want to be making mistakes. But don't hesitate, don't delay, because these programs, they're open today and they may be closed tomorrow. So while the lenders are still open, they may not be open tomorrow. Okay, so get your applications in. Now, I was going to show the video, but it's a short clip, so you can just go to the video yourself. I said that Isabel Guzman testified. So when you go to that video around the 55-minute mark, you will hear a line of questioning, and she's talking about the targeted, addressing the targeted EIDL grant program. She says specifically that the plan is to open up the targeted EIDL grants to more businesses that are not currently eligible or meet the eligibility, like the 300 employees or less, a 30% decrease in gross revenue, and in a low income community. So those are the qualifiers in order for you to get the grant right now. She said in June. So that's what we're looking for. So all of those that were declined because you're not in a low income community or you did not meet the 30% threshold, look out for that. So I will be on the lookout for that and bring you all an update. But she said around the June timeframe, they're going to be expanding it outside the current criteria. So that is exciting news. This is grant up to $15,000. Now, the sad news is that according to the SBA, for as many people that applied, the many millions that applied to the EIDL program in 2020 that could potentially be eligible, that would get an invitation if you applied on or before December 27, a very small percentage have actually submitted an application. And so I say this many times before as well, is how important it is to share information with your entrepreneurs and small business owners, because what happens is some of them, when they weren't approved, or they just got their $1,000 last year and they're not even paying attention. They don't even know this program is up and running. I get questions every day. Someone just inboxed me yesterday and sent me the email from the SBA asking me if it was legitimate. And what is this? And why are they giving out this much money? They have no clue that they are about to lose. They're sitting on possibly $15,000 grants, free money for their business. They have no clue. They don't even know to go check their email or their spam folder. She just happened to come across it. I don't know how, but she didn't even know what it was. She didn't even know if it was real. Okay. And she was asking me to verify for her. So if you get a email from the SBA, would always have .gov at the end, it is legitimate. Respond to it and quickly. So some businesses, entrepreneurs, they just got it or didn't, and people got frustrated and fed up, and it's just like they just moved on. But they're not aware that they can still qualify. That's why I continue to come on and share this information, because I never know who's watching the video, who's coming on new, who's joining us. And this is the first time that they're hearing this. And it's going to prompt them to take some type of an action. Okay? So check your emails. There's millions that are going to miss out because they have not responded to the SBA's invite. Now, the SBA continues to send out invitations. They continue to process applications for the up to $10,000 grant. So it's $10,000 or the balance thereof. And then they launched the supplemental grant. I received both of them. The supplemental grant, they launched, they're processing those as well. The SBA puts out reports. So you can look up reports on all these different programs, the standing, how many people have been funded and where, what state, what regions. So I regularly monitor that as well. So they're picking up as far as the processing of these applications. Again, this was a discussion during the hearing the other day, but the supplemental grants are also available. That is $5,000. The criteria, though, is a little bit different. You have to have 50%, be able to prove a 50% decrease in gross revenue, and you have to have 10 employees or less to qualify for the supplement. So if you qualify for both, that means the maximum you can get is $15,000. So If you have applied for the targeted EIDL grant, can you let me know in the comments, what is your status? Have you received your invite? Are you in process? Have you checked your portal? Have you been approved? Are you still Are you still waiting? And have you been funded? Someone else contacted me, and I did a video on this. If you are in your application portal and you see it says processing, and it's been saying processing for like a week or more, please check for a blue button that says submit for processing. That processing, it needs to move to the next stage, which is submitted. As long as it's in some processing, nobody's looking at it. That means the loan specialist is not looking at your application. So click that button. That's a button that many people miss clicking. And once you click that, it's going to gray out all these other 3 line items at the bottom. And then it's going to change your status to submitted. That means that it's actually been moved to a loan specialist to review your application. The next status, if you're approved, it will be either approved or denied. If it's approved, it will move to approved. Once you're approved, once it's time to be funded, the status will change to funded. So people always ask me about, what do these different statuses mean? That's what it means. Okay. So approved, you have been approved. You're just waiting on funding. And then funded is that you're funded. They're in process of depositing the money, or have already deposited. If you get approved, it goes to funded, then you get an error. I did a video on this as well. That means there's an issue with your bank. Okay, go back and check out all the EIDL videos. Okay, the information is in there. There's an issue. The thing about it is, once you're funded, that money still is allocated to you. So it's not necessarily that you're going to lose it. It's that money has been reserved for you to get it fixed, whatever that issue is, and then so that you can be able to get access to your money. Now, I know Congress, one of the things that they were saying, because I said initially there was no appeal process for this, they want the SBA to be able to provide more help regarding appeals, the reevaluation or reconsideration, because of some of the nuances that go on that are not necessarily the fault of the business owner, that you may make an error on an application, or in a particular application, you may have made a mistake and can't remove a document that you submitted, and so now it's part of review, and now you're getting denied when it was something that you could have fixed if the system allowed you to be able to do it. So those things were brought up in the hearing as well, to work with the SBA to resolve some of these issues. But they did express concern that applicants are being unnecessarily denied access to funding. And it's like, okay, if they don't get this funding, then what's going to happen to them as a small business? So they just want them to go the extra mile to kind of work with the applicant. Because some people struggle with these applications. Not everybody, is well versed in business or systems or financial statements, and being able to pull these different things together. So that's a reason for the Community Navigator program that they are starting up to be able to help with some of these things, to bridge the gap and try to lower the number of people that are declined, where it is an issue that can be easily resolved. So that is the EIDL. EIDL loans, again, are still available through December the 31st of 2021. They're not forgivable, but they brought it up in the hearing. That's what these hearings are so important. They brought this up in the hearing. They talked about how the payments are deferred to 2020, and again, put it back on Congress. Now, if they want the loan to be forgivable, this has been a big, for discussion, then Congress needs to make it happen and instruct the SBA. So then it goes back to Congress to then say, okay, we're going to make these loans forgivable. But they're not forgivable right now. So, but they are deferred. They're also in process. You can get an increase now. They discussed the increase of the caps, that they were appreciative that the new administrator increased the caps from 6 months of working capital to 24 months, and from 150,000 to 500,000 in working capital. So I know many of you all have been funded and are in process of getting your increase. I know many have gotten their increases, but I also know many that have been waiting. So for several weeks and a couple months to be able to get access to the increase in funding. One of the, with the EIDL program, well, all of these programs, the form which was up for discussion is the 4506T, which was brought up and was discussed by Ms. Guzman, is the fact that this is one of the primary, and outside of the other controls, this 4506T is one of their primary documents that they use to control fraud. Because it's a validation tool that they use where they can communicate directly with the IRS and compare data to validate that you have a real tax return on file. They can see the information that has been provided, validate the income, the amounts, the business. So there's a lot that they can do with that 4506T, which is why if they can't find your business, that you have a record with that 4506T is coming back as errors, and you will be denied the grant, or you will be denied the increase and denied the loan if you're applying for the loan. And so we were all well aware that the IRS is backlogged. So even if you filed your 2020, your 2019 taxes, it may not, over 24 million is not on record in their master file. So if you are denied either the grant, the increase, or the loan, I would encourage you to submit a request for reconsideration and see if you can get approved. But fraud, waste, and abuse was a primary topic of discussion. Because we know many millions, if not billions, have been lost due to fraud. They to discuss identity theft. So there are business owners, entrepreneurs who had their identity stolen, or people, random people had their identity stolen, and people applied for these different programs in their names and got funded fraudulently. And so they addressed that, and how are they going to help rectify that, make sure that those people that suffered identity theft aren't held accountable or responsible for that, and that they're made whole. So the SBA, they're working together on that. So if you have been a victim of identity fraud, you definitely want to be alerted to that and work with the SBA. And if it's unemployment, because there's been a fraud across the board, but work with the entity to resolve that. And it's not an easy process once you've been just ask any victim of identity theft. It can be a long road to resolve those types of issues, but they definitely don't want you all to be penalized because your identities were stolen. There's all types of scams and fraud out here, and they know small businesses are vulnerable. So you have to be very cautious, do your due diligence, be careful about sharing information. They will never ask you to send information via social media or text. That just doesn't happen. We won't do it, right? There are just certain ways that you do business. The IRS will never do that, right? So just be cautious and do your due diligence, but do follow up. If you're ever in doubt, just call the SBA and say, did you send me this? Is this from you? I'm just calling to validate it, okay? And know who you're talking to. Do they have your information? Do they know? Or are they asking you all the questions? So just be mindful of that there's, scam artists out here, but not everybody is a scam artist. So, don't do nothing because you feel like there are scams out here. There are always scams, but you report them when you see them, and then get recommendations and referrals. We give them all the time. You can email us anytime. If there's something that we don't do, we have a whole network of well-vetted people, professionals that provide quality service. So we will happily provide that for you. You can email us at hello@shebosstalk hello@shebosstalk.com, and I'll be happy to assist you with that. So those are the updates. There's the one last thing: state grants. Grants are still being rolled out. Many funding states are being funded again. They have other stimulus funding that they had. They're opening more rounds of grants that they already had, or new grant programs. Ohio, if you're out there, be on the lookout. They already passed the bill. It's just a matter of them setting it up. The website is already there. It's the same website that they use for the other program. It's on our grant tracker. So if you're looking for grants and you need a place to start, go to our website. There's a tab for our grant tracker, our COVID-19 resources. New York has rolled out a big grant, $800 million. I think their grant is up to 50,000, and it opens June 10th. So when you find these out, you want to mark your calendar and then go apply. Wisconsin recently launched a big grant for small business. New Jersey recently launched a new grant or a new round of grants for small businesses. So don't forget to look in your local area. So many of you miss out because you're just not looking in your local area. And I mean, actively look. And on our website, in the grant tracker, we give you tools of what organizations what associations you can go to that offer grants or can point you in the right direction of grant opportunities. We have many people that have followed up on this and didn't know until we talked about it, or they went to our grant tracker and then they found that there was an opportunity in their state, in their county, in their city. The government or association or organization in their local geographic area. So don't miss out on those opportunities. They're still rolling out more of them. There are too many to even name on this broadcast, but they're out there. There's a grant with your name on it. But you want to make sure you're set up for success, because I still get people, they're struggling with the process. It's easier than it ever has been. They don't have grants like this pre-COVID for-profit businesses. So now is the time. If you need help, we have a masterclass bundle. The link is in the comment. We have a winning grant application cheat sheet and checklist, an ebook that I created with all my tips and tricks that I use to secure over $150,000 at this point. Have helped thousands of small businesses secure millions in free money for their business. So use these affordable tools to be able to help you secure money for your business so that you can go hire some more teammates, so you can go do those Facebook ads, so you can invest more in marketing materials that you need, so you can go get that new equipment. So the opportunities are out there. And then just before I close, you'll see on the screen, we love to host master classes. We're hosting another live one. My girl, she has a billboard up in New York. She is the Killer Pitch Master. If you want to learn how to slay your pitch, whether you are pitching in front, if you're pitching for a grant, if you're going in front of a panel, if you want to be in the media, you want more exposure for your business, you want to learn how to attract more clients to your business, you want to learn how to attract more partners that are going to support you, give you money, give you support, give you referrals, then we want to see you in our masterclass Saturday, June 26th. Register now, because seats are always limited and they book up very quickly. She's world-renowned master communicator, master pitch strategist. So if that is you, we want you to meet us in the room again Saturday, June 26th. Okay, so those are the updates for today. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Memorial Day, or whatever you're celebrating. Celebrate the fact that you're still here, right? That is an accomplishment. Wherever you are, celebrate where you are, what you have accomplished. If you're still in it, that is an accomplishment. So don't sell yourself short. Don't overlook the fact that you're still here. You're making progress. And you just move forward from here. So I wish you all continued success. Have a wonderful weekend. Continue to be the boss with amplified impact and continue to stay safe and in good health. Have a wonderful day.